Hello, my name's host Eric. I'm the host of Talking with Famous People, and I want you to know the following. How long will this farce persist? This pungent, putrid parade of life, each sauntering by, full of its own glory. How long must we endure this farce, I say? Would that be an example of an angry truth? Today's topic is angry truths. Are there such things? What might they be? If they are angry, who are they angry at? These are the questions that we will be asking today on Talking with Famous People's live stream entitled Angry Truths. So if you've got any angry truths you'd like to share with us, we're here today to listen to your anger, coddle it, wallow in it, and generally swish it around in our mouths. If you don't have any angry truths, well, don't worry. I'm sure I can make some up. It's what I do, after all. I make up angry truths all the time. I'm like an expert at it. Why you, I'll say, and then I'll wag my finger and shake my fist. I'll shake my head in a most dramatic fashion, like this. I might even put my hands on my hips. Explain TI the easiest way in TE logic and TI logic, and Aristotle discovered logic and he is the NTJ. People approach language, particularly, in one of two ways. They treat words as though they mean specific and exclusive things, that they exclude other meanings, and that they are functionally binary or static objects. Or they treat them as attempts to express themselves. TE doesn't have anything to do with language. And I am shocked that you were able to type Aristotle. You must be incredibly old. We can't type people, of course, without actually assessing them. These are angry truths. Eve Tall. Hi, Boba Fett. I love you too. That's not a very angry truth, though. I would say that's the opposite of an angry truth. What's the opposite of an angry truth? A peacemaking truth? Legends falls on Team Angry Truth. Like, why you? Like that. That's how you express your truths in an angry fashion. With a stern shake of the fist. Hi, Dark Sunshine. I missed you guys too. You know, that's basically why I'm live streaming this morning. I miss everybody. And I feel like I'm isolated and aw, like that. You don't want to feel like that, do you? Nobody wants to feel like, aw. That's one of nature's worst feelings. I'm not especially a romantic person, but I just did something pretty romantic with Rachel there. So I was part of a show that I thought expressed my romantic feelings well. So I remembered when she caught up, I played it for her. It was pretty romantic. I'm not a very romantic guy by nature, so I'm pretty proud of myself for being so romantic. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Dark Sunshine. I enjoyed it as well. And I was happy to learn that she's the she's the girlfriend of that ESTP guy I had typed recently. Which means they have won the typological matchup challenge. Your exams are soon. Uh-oh. That's not fun. Being examined. Usually. It depends on the context. Sometimes it might be fun, but probably not in this context. I bet you school is not going to do any fun examinations of you. By fun, I mean sexual. It's sexual examination time. Here's your stern German teacher lady. Da, ja, Wiener Schnitzel. Was ist verboten? I'm getting coffee, by the way, if you were wondering. If you were dying of curiosity and couldn't stand the fact that I just got up without saying what I was doing, I'm getting more coffee. I think everybody needs in life at some point a stern German sexual examination. I think that's fair. Every single human being should have to undergo one at some point. Is that an angry truth? I don't know. Might be a little bit of an angry truth. What about those darn Yankees? Is that an angry truth? Ooh, those darn Yankees. I'm tired of them winning baseball games. Is that an angry truth? I think so. I don't really have a lot to say today. You know, I got up this morning and I said to myself, gosh, Eric, you are so not on any drugs. And that sucks so much ass. I don't like that. You know, I just thought, wow, there's something really wrong with this picture. I am so sober right now. And I'm realizing something. I don't like it. Well, ISFJs are more down to earth, quote unquote. I was talking with Rachel inside about the dynamics of ESTP ISFJ versus ENTP ISFJ versus ENTP INFJ, right? Because here's the way it works out. ESTP and ISFJ are on the same page that what's important is what's important, okay? Whereas ENTP and INFJ are on the same page that what matters is what matters, okay? If you get ENTP and ISFJ together, one of them is focused on what's important, and one of them is focused on what matters. And there's an ongoing, continual, low-broiling conflict over that framing issue. Now, in an idealized version of the thing, that balances each other out. But in reality, it just never gets resolved from the ENTP's perspective, for whom it's important for it to get resolved because we're a mapping type. And it just causes the relationship to get heavier over time. Whereas the relationship between the ENTP and INFJ doesn't suffer from that because you're on fundamentally the same page. Similarly with the ESTP ISFJ. If you both agree that what's important is what's important, and what matters is of secondary concern, then you won't have any fundamental frame disagreement. But if you And similarly with INFJ and ENTP, if you both agree on the frame level that what matters is what matters, then you won't have a fundamental disagreement broiling at all times. And over time, it starts to weigh down the relationship. It gives it a shelf life, whereas this relationship doesn't. Socionics might be correct about the mirage quality of this intertype thing, but they need to account for the fact that it plays out differently among judgers and perceivers, and they haven't accounted for that fact. I think they might be right that it's mirage between two judgers, but they have to change. They have to shift things one direction to the right or to the left or whatever for perceivers, because it plays out differently for perceivers. You're watching the replay of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial on her phone. People are interested in that now. And particularly Rachel. I mean, when I say people, I mean Rachel's interested in that now. Hi, Octavio Silva. How's your Octavio and how are your Silvas? Are we doing fine? You know that Octavio Silva has 19 children? It's true. I was shocked when I learned it. Is that an angry truth? No. That's a neutral truth, I'd say. Amber Heard's a bad lady. Except she's 19 to Papa Mom. She's 19 to Papa Mom. That's how you say it when you got 19 children. But except they weren't all at once. It wasn't one huge litter of children. She had 19 separate children. Her badge just tore to shit. Like, you know, I got this comment this morning. I read the first fucking 3 words of it. I just removed it immediately. It was by Demon. And Demon comes in many forms, but he always has the word demon in his name. I haven't watched any of it because I watched 5 seconds of that lady and I immediately knew she was evil and I hated her and I don't want to see anything more about it. It's unusual for me to jump to that immediate kind of conclusion on so little data. But when it comes to narcissists, I shit you not, I am Eric the narcissist slayer. I can smell them. I can smell it instantly. Oh my God. Did she really? Hear this thing and so you see how evil she is. She once said, "It doesn't matter if I pledged the money or I actually donated it because in my mind those words mean the same thing." Well, fuck off, Amber Heard. Oh, what an evil, horrible person. I do not like you, Amber Heard. I do not like you with a bird. I do not like you as a turd. I do not like you or your words. I do not like you, Amber Heard. Pledge means to promise to give money. Well, Clint Eastwood, I think what we all need to do is take turns giving her a stern spanking. That's what she needs. She needs about, 500 people in a row to spank her. I just hope he's not dating Amber Heard. Why would he ever have begun dating her in the first place? Anyway, I want to get back to what I was saying earlier, which is the important stuff, okay? Dr. Strauss is my father, show media. I'm just son. I'm just Strauss' son. Regular old Mr. Strauss. I'm with you, show media. I am with you 100%. I cannot watch that woman without just wanting to jump up through the screen and punch her in the face. Well, yeah, sure, because, I mean, your lawyer is specifically your advocate for your interests. So there's no problem with them having. They just can't have conflicting interests. In other words, they can't be invested in the lawyer company that is representing the prosecution. If it's a civil case, it's going to be not the state, you know. She's got a black belt in evil, I say. Anyhow, I'm trying to talk about the difficult reality, the angry truth that I'm faced with this morning. Or was, anyway, I should say. Everybody wants to talk about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. I'm trying to talk about the challenges I personally face in the morning. When I wake up and I realize I really don't have any drugs to do. There's no Adderall. There's no weed. What am I going to do? So, naturally, I think to myself, I know. I'll take a couple of Rachel's gabapentins and have a Klonopin. Go get more weed. And I'll just have to make do on those various things. We'll see what happens. You know? So, that's where we are right now. And I feel fine. You know, I feel like, okay. I feel a little bit weird. Weird enough to not be raw dogging, right? That's real raw dogging. When you're out of everything, you got no cigarettes, you got no weed, you got nothing. Then you're really raw dogging life. That's a real angry truth. You want to know what's a happy truth, though, for me? And I'm always happy to see it. Is, well, I mean, we don't know, but we'll see how 2 gabapentins and a half Klonopin and 2 new bags of weed and maybe a couple Tylenol at some point. We'll see how all those things combine to impact Eric's, yeah, because there's also a lot of built up immune. So I have immunes to yeah. They've been in the holding tank. I'm constipated full of Muse. So I don't know exactly what they are. Hey Rachel, wasn't I super romantic earlier? Rachel will hold the 40. Well, I figured the logistics. There's a question above. Yeah, well, you know, you mix various things together and see what happens. Do you think any users have a higher weed tolerance or something? Litch and I have been taking the same edibles. I feel way harder and longer than they do. I think people who do smoke more weed have a higher tolerance. I think if you smoke all the time, he basically doesn't get you high anymore. But as to whether or not any types are more likely to want to do that, maybe. Certainly more so than SE types, it seems like. But yeah, that's some high. I get like at least 50 romance points for that. But I really felt it too. I really did in my emotion heart. It's nice to have some good romantic moments together, you know. It's neither Rachel nor I are huge on the FI, you know. It's backstacked for both of us. It's countervalued for her, but I think she liked it anyway because she realized that I liked it and felt emotion, and so she was like, "Oh, how sweet! He's being so authentic in his emotions." You know, because INFJs like other people to be authentic in their emotions, so that they don't have to be authentic in their own emotions, and then they can just read the other person and adjust accordingly. Well, I'll tell you something, Dark Sunshine. INFJ girls are still girls, and girls have this weird thing about romance. And you know, Rachel's a fairly girly girl. She likes girly stuff, like makeup and jewelry and things like that. Oh, yeah, I will if I see him around. Totally. Yes, I do think Bojack Horseman is an INFJ. What? You want a scene that's going through the INFJ's head when things aren't going well for them? There's this one episode in which, for, I don't know, 30 seconds or a minute of the show, you hear his internal dialogue. Oh my god. That is such an INFJ's internal dialogue when shit's not going well. And it's a nightmare. You just watch that episode, I bet you any INFJ will go like, yep. Internal monologue, you're right. Well, the thing is, sometimes it can very easily be internal dialogue. I might have two separate parties communicating with each other inside my head. But in this case, it was, I think, monologue. You're right. INFJs don't get a bad rap, and that's not how you'd spell it anyway. You'd spell it R-A-P. Now, if you're saying when INFJs go to the hero store and order a chicken wrap and they always get a bad one, then you are correct. Well, it's also like a rap sheet. And that's the kind of rap that is being referred to there. So, you're right, but it's also rap like a rap sheet. No, it's not. It's not. You just gonna have to trust the English teacher this time. On my credentials. Or you can look it up yourself. Is that what you call your foreskin? You say it's wrapping your penis in a stereotype? I hate the way that my foreskin wraps my penis in a stereotype. Is that an angry truth? Today we're trying to figure out which truths are angry and which truths are peaceable. Which truths taste like apricots and which truths don't. So here's a truth that's not angry. The birds are going to town on our apricots. And the reason it's not angry is because if the birds don't eat those apricots, we're not going to eat all those apricots. We do eat some of those apricots. Periodically I'll pass the tree, I'll just grab a ripe one and I'll eat it. Well, you know, no character is completely conforms to its type because they aren't written accordingly. Do you miss it without ever having known it? Apricots are not evil if they're fresh from the tree and delicious. They're also good dried, you know. Who doesn't love dried apricots? Only the devil. Only the devil doesn't love dried apricots. True or false? The answer is true. Can I get a what from the crowd? Is that an angry truth? Delicious things are delicious, it's true. They're also things. Oh, yeah. Hello. I never understood if it was better to have or not have foreskin. Well, generally speaking, the people who don't have foreskin will tell you it's better not to have it. And the people who have foreskin will tell you, oh, it's better to have it. That's usually how it works. What's my most controversial opinion? Well, it certainly used to be evolution. I think people are starting to pull back from their own commitment to evolution as an explanation to a certain extent. At least around here. Because it doesn't make any sense. It's a perfectly good reason why, you know. It's not like I'm a creationist. That's not an explanation for anything. But I do expect my explanations to actually explain things, and evolution definitely doesn't. So that experiences some pushback, but I mean, what's by far my most controversial opinion is an opinion that doesn't matter at all, okay? Which is interesting, because this doesn't matter, and yet it is my most controversial opinion of all. That what I'm saying about cognitive functions is uniquely and exclusively true when it conflicts with what other people are saying. For some reason, that, of all the things I say, even though it matters a lot in terms that people recognize we aren't playing literature interpretation. Every interpretation you can support counts. We're trying to actually explain something. You know? The fact that I would treat it as such, though, is appalling to people. I get so angry about it. I love Rachel. She's so wonderful. Why am I feeling emotional today? I don't normally have a lot of these sort of feelings. I am saying something. I love Rachel. Yeah. Run for introverted thinking. That's the message of this shirt. Thank you for pointing that out, Show Media. Until this moment, I did not know that was the true message of this shirt. Okay, but maybe God just made the foreskin to create a job for circumcisers. Have you ever thought about that? Did he make this beard so therefore I have to let it grow forever? Yeah, I know. It's frustrating, right? Well, you say the Earth revolves around the sun. I say the sun revolves around the Earth. We're just using different systems. Yes, you're using the wrong one, and I'm using the right one. Do we have internal sexual organs? You mean our prostate? Women have internal sexual organs. It's called their vagina. It's called their mouth. What do you think a woman's throat is? That's an internal sexual organ. Anyway, But it well, sometimes when a man and a woman love each other very much, women have vaginas. The end. Eric, couldn't the tendency of wanting to know more in a given situation, like in typing session questions, also apply to deliberation DOMs since information is a prerequisite for deliberation? Yeah, well, Ryan, I was thinking a lot about that question of what you don't know can't hurt you, and whether it applies to ENTPs and INTPs, or mostly just to ENTPs, because of the fact that INTPs probably are less satisfied by not knowing because they're deliberation DOMs. Maybe you have some insight onto that. I'm not sure. I'm in the air about it still. How often do you and Rachel take trips into nature? We should take more trips into nature, but we go every couple of weeks, it seems like. I don't know. The thing is, I have to be attentive to what Rachel feels comfortable with. Since she got this neuropathy, she's got somewhat limited comfort in going distances or doing things that are kind of sketch, like walking over iffy rocks and stuff like that. So I have to keep that in mind. And I think when we go on those things, she's a little bit anxious that I'm not going to remember that, and probably with some good cause, because she's not really very loud about voicing that. And then, so we should go out maybe today if she feels like it, to some place, just to just some place, like a turnout that's near some bit of wilderness where we can just kind of like walk around and look for rocks. Do you want to go to the party? Yeah, Mickey Dickety, yeah. Well, that's also an interesting discussion, but I was referring to you're using people's desire to know more as evidence for NI DOMs many times. Oh, well, I don't really ask that question anymore. The point is, I'm really looking to see if they're epistemologists or action interfacers. I'm not really looking to see if they're NI. It's funny how people always think they know what I'm looking for. I'm usually not looking for anything specific. I'm just teasing shit out and seeing what it says. Vaginas have everything you can imagine and more. Wall-to-wall carpeting. Mood lighting. People with Down syndrome at the door to greet you. Just like Walmart. It's a beautiful experience. You'll have to go visit one time. Yeah. I can't do it justice. Double-decker foreskin. So this is life, huh? This is what I do when I'm alive. So this is my life. This is what I do. What is it that I'm doing? Why am I doing it? Why is this my life and not some other life? These are questions that we all ask sometimes. Does a vagina have a nose? Do I have a nose for vagina? These are different questions, and yet the words are almost all the same. How did that happen? It's a little something we call grammar. If truths can be angry, can lies be happy? More importantly, is happy the opposite of angry? Cody Mitchell, Michael. Maybe you need to answer that question before I can answer your question, right? Because if you're trying to draw a contrast here, you're going to have to come up with the opposite of angry. And I do not think the opposite of angry is happy. Oh, no, sir. You're not going to get away with such sloppy rhetoric around me, mister. Pshaw, I say. And I say it with a capital P. What do you think about that? This is sober Eric. You don't get this very often. This is mostly sober Eric, okay? What's in a nigov? Well, among Asian women, their vaginas go side to side. So, instead of up and down. That's what we call them that. Little known facts. Little known facts. Peaceable, you might say. Are lies peaceable? They can be. Can truths be angry? Yeah. Can lies be happy? Well, lies can make people happy. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies, darling. Come on, tell me lies. Don't tell me the truth, just tell me some lies, baby. Tell me the sky is purple. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. For example, tell me Santa Claus is real. Working 9 to 5, telling lies to everybody. Working 9 to 5, telling lies to everybody. So what happens when you combine those two songs? When you combine Tell Me Lies by the Eurythmics with 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton. That's called A Woman in a State of Humpage. Oh yeah. To answer clearly your question. It's referred to as a woman in a state of humpage. Undergoing a humpage procedure. When a woman undergoes a humpage procedure, a vagina stick? No, that's not what it's called. When a woman undergoes a humping procedure, it means that a man has made sexual intercourse at her. That's how it works, okay? First, a man makes sexual intercourse at a woman, then the woman undergoes a humpage procedure. This is the ways of the birds and the bees. Learn them, memorize them. There will be a quiz later. And the conclusion of every humpage procedure, namely the point at which a man ceases to make sexual intercourse at a woman, is the ejaculation event of the man. Now, depending on the circumstances, he may have his ejaculation event inside of the woman if she is properly constrained from baby making in some fashion, or if not, he may have to have that ejaculation event someplace else on her body, usually her stomach. So, there you have it. That's how a man makes sexual intercourse at a woman. And once she's undergone her sexual humpage event, the man says, thank you for that. Thank you for undergoing that. And then they both clean themselves off. And that's the end. You don't use your nose for intercourse. I don't, anyway. My nose is for pointing my face towards things. That's what it's for. That's how I know which direction my eyes are going. If semen gets inside the belly button, the proper procedure is to get a paper towel, because your regular towel won't go down in there all the way because it's too thick. This is Sexual Intercourse 101. So is everybody getting this properly down? Is everybody taking notes? Yeah, because your regular towels are plush. They're thick and plush. You can't get it all the way down into the bottom of the belly button because it's too thick and plush. You need something that you can twist up. You can get in there with it. Depends on whether I'm horny or thirsty. That's the truth of the matter, oh yeah. It really depends. In the former, the former. In the latter, the latter. What if both occur concurrently? Well, there's no reason you can't consume both concurrently. You can have both concurrently, in theory. I mean, I'm not sure that I'm gonna really care that much about how thirsty I am in the middle of administering a humpage procedure. Probably I'm gonna ignore the fact that I'm thirsty as I'm administering the humpage procedure. But if I do get thirsty and there is a non-alcoholic beer next to me, I could conceivably have both at the same time. It's not inconceivable. So just remember that, you know. But generally I would say the humpage procedure is going to remove from one's state of consciousness a lot of attention towards things like whether one is hot or cold or thirsty. If you have to pee, that's another matter. Then you have to get up and go pee. And that's a whole thing, right? That's a whole thing. Oh, God. I gotta pee. In that case, then you have to go into the bathroom. And here's my tip for everybody that I use when you have to go pee and you go into the bathroom, but your member isn't pointing in the right direction to go pee, right? It's pointing in exactly the wrong direction to go pee. So here's what you do. You start thinking about the Dodgers and who plays in which position. This is a trick I've been using since high school. It works, I tell you. Okay, do I know who the first baseman of the Dodgers is? Huh. No. Okay, well, who do I know that's on the Dodgers? Cody Bellinger's on the Dodgers. What's he play? Outfield? Probably. Okay, I know some pitchers, right? Kershaw's still on the Dodgers. And then by the time I get through a few people, I'm ready to pee. Try it out. Try it out. You will find out that that is the best way to go from having sexual intercourse to peeing before going back to having sexual intercourse again. So anyway, hopefully you've gone pee before you've begun administering the sexual humpage. Okay? Ideally. Because you don't want that. You don't want to have to get up during the middle of it and have to go pee. That's not a good thing. That's like, but then you don't want to finish before you go pee, because then as you're finishing, it's going to be like, you know. These are the rules of sex. Everybody write them down. Oh yeah, don't ask me such provocative questions all the time. Why don't you get a little bit more mature? and yet she was such a bitch, wasn't she, Rachel? Oh my God, she was such a bitch. Oh, She was so smooth and such a bitch at the same time, wasn't she? I was so glad you got to meet her and see her in action. I was so happy about that. I mean, it was shocking how she can be such a bitch so nicely. Is Rachel lying? No. What's wrong with you today? Oh yeah, chill out. Sex on mushrooms is just like, I don't know. It's weird. It's fine, it's good, it's just weird. Sex is always weird. Everything about it's weird. You know, it's like none of it makes sense. So you just put it off into the realm of this happens for sex only, and and then when I asked Delilah for Adderall, she's like, I see nothing's changed. I was like, fuck off. Yeah, Jonathan, that's hilarious. Ooh yeah. Ooh yeah. Will you stop being so provocative, oh yeah? Be less provocative. We're having a mature adult conversation here, okay? A mature adult mature conversation. It's got twice the maturity in it now. It's 200% maturity. If you thought it was mature before this, now it's like, phew, it's old, so mature. Adderall is not meth, no. Well, you wouldn't want to be a big phony, would you? That's okay. Go ahead and be a big phony. The world needs phonies. Phonies are what make the world go around, okay? Phonies are the ones who make everyone go, okay, fine, we'll work together, even though we don't like each other, because phonies being such a good job of being phony about everything. People need phonies. Can I explain my interpretation of duality? I think it works for judgers because they have the same kind of function as the absolute values. So Ti and Fe are both the same kind of function. They're both communicative and they're both absolute values. And they have the same kind of absolute value in the fifth, namely a experiential function. So they're on the same page on the frame level all the time. To get that same relationship occur between perceivers, you need it to be INFJ, ENTP, ISFJ, ESTP, because then you've got the same kinds of absolute values again. You got communication absolute values, and you got in the first and in the fifth, and they're shared for both people. So you're on the same frame level. If I'm with an ISFJ, she's got experiential absolute values in the first and fifth, and I've got communicative absolute values in the first and fifth. And ultimately, that causes the relationship to break down because there's an underlying frame disagreement that never will be resolved. Is that a good enough explanation? Make a chart. That sounds hard. That sounds super hard. Before I make a chart, I want to make an episode of my new hit show, World's Gayest Hurricanes. In which we talk about hurricanes that look like they were just going to be tropical storms that stay offshore, but then turn into a super gay hurricane and come to like knock out your city. What's a gay pirate say in jail when he's on top of you? R. Didn't he say that even when he's not on top of you? Well, you know what type you are then? You're the confused type. Congratulations. Look around you for Psyduck. He's often the responsible party when there's confusion in the mix. Check for Psyduck. Exactly, Jonathan Asante. In my 40 years as a meteorologist, never before had I witnessed such a gay hurricane. Well, the good news is, I did go to the weed store. We do have weed now. They had this good deal for Memorial Day. They got these Fun Uncle Eighths for $20 a pop. So I got two of them for $42 at the door, which is pretty cheap. 7 grams for $40 is like $6 a gram. That's pretty cheap. And pretty good weed. So, I don't have any of the latter, unfortunately. Oh, yeah. I'm fresh out. So, I'm smoking this weed instead. Occasionally I'll get concentrate of some variety. I don't really like to I don't really like to smoke concentrate very much. It tends to make me cough. It tends to make me go like that. I picked up some of the green crack strain yesterday, $9 for 3.5 grams. That's a good price. The cheapest one they had at the store was $14 for 3.5 grams today. So we're about $5 more than you guys. But I didn't get that one. I got the $20 one instead, which is the same brand, but the $14 ones are like the worst of that brand, right? Yeah, you can get all of those things, Boba Fett. You can get hash, and it tastes like hash. Yeah, we did get a new whippet dispenser. We broke our old one, which happens if you use it in the way that we use it, which is it would take many years of cooking for you to use as many whippets as we use. It's like that blue whippet thing got like 5 years and a busy kitchen in New York's amount of work from us in like 4 months. Eric, if I told you you have sexy legs, would you hold it against me? No. I have a Kanakistani friend who brings down a whole gamut of these every winter. Ah, a gamut. What a good amount of things to bring. I do have banjo playing legs. If I had a banjo, I'd play you some banjo songs. I do know how to play the banjo a little bit. Actually took banjo lessons for a while. So, I don't have a banjo though. These are the sort of things I should get. It's like I spend all my money on consumables. I'm not good at consuming when it comes to buying objects that I actually want and need. I've seen many gay hurricanes before, but never had I seen a Category 5 gay hurricane like Hurricane Parker. Parker was a really, really gay hurricane. Jonathan, can you please share your thoughts about the growing movement to rename Parker into a gayer name and call it Hurricane Barry? Yes, I think I'm behind that movement. Parker is too straight a name for this hurricane. I think we should begin referring to it as Hurricane Barry. Is there a gayer name than Barry? I guess, like, Leslie, maybe? Leslie for... But see, if you name a hurricane Leslie, it's going to be assumed it's a girl. All the gay hurricanes have to be gay male hurricanes. That's funny. Oh. Aren't group biases hilarious? They sure are. They make me laugh and laugh. I feel weird. The lesbian hurricanes meet up with each other and hang out in the ocean together. They don't bother coming on shore. They're busy doing their thing, their crafts and stuff at sea. Anyway, is Pete really banging Kay? I don't know the answer to that question. Frankly, as a hurricane namologist, I personally believe the gayness of the Hurricane Parker, transcending the name Parker, displays just how gay it was. Well said, sir, well said. We're sticking with Parker. We are sticking with Parker. And may all Parkers in the world now be affiliated with this gay hurricane. Hurricanes have tornadoes in them? So how does that work? The tornadoes are like hurricane penises. Okay? There's a lot of sword fighting going on in a hurricane. A gay hurricane. A lot of sword fighting. My head feels so strange right now. 2 gabapentins and half a Klonopin. And I feel like making, I feel like making gloves. Feel like making gloves with you. First we'll get some leather and cut a hand shape. And then we'll get another piece of leather and cut another hand shape. I feel like making. I feel like making gloves. Feel like making gloves tonight. Then we'll sew the pieces of leather together like this. Until we've got us 2 sets of gloves, yeah. And we'll make a fist. 'Cause now we've made some gloves. Feel like making gloves. Now we've made some gloves together. Rachel Eric, favorite milkshake flavor? Well, I got 2. It depends on my mood. If I want an ice cream milkshake, I'm going with coffee flavored ice cream. Coffee ice cream milkshake from Baskin Robbins with a scoop of malt in it. Okay? This is your ideal ice cream milkshake. And this is universally true for everybody, and everybody who doesn't agree with me is wrong. Okay, you have the wrong, you have the wrong milkshake preference. If you don't agree with what I'm saying right here. Now, if you're not in the mood for a milk-based, cream-based, heavy kind of, I got to drink this whole big thing. If you're not really that hungry. If instead it's hot out and you want to get a saucy, sassy, sequentially quenching drink, you get your daiquiri freeze ice made with sparkly water, not with Sprite. Okay? Gotta tell them all this. None of this is on the menu. You gotta really know your Baskin Robbins, okay? You're not gonna see this drink on the menu. You're not gonna see it on the menu. The person you ask may or may not know about it. They might have to ask the manager or something. Somebody will know about it though. It's not that uncommon. The daiquiri ice freeze made with sparkly water instead of Sprite. Now that's a drink you can take home to mama, and you can say, Mama, this drink is fantastic, and you won't be lying at all, okay? You will not be lying at all. So, that is the answer to the question about milkshakes. Both of them need to be got at Baskin Robbins, okay? That's the place to get your milkshake. You go to Baskin Robbins and you get one of two things. If you want your milkshake, you get your coffee ice cream with your scoop of your malt in it. If you want your more refreshing drink, you get your daiquiri ice freeze, sparkly water, no Sprite. There you go. Your problem has all been solved. If you're currently drinking some other kind of milkshake or smoothie or something besides one of those two things, you're doing it wrong. And you need to be shamed for your wrongness. Okay? Yeah, that's the aquarium. It needs to have the water changed again. These big goldfish, they eat so much food. It's not a raccoon aggressively bathing in my sink. Boy, I'm getting tired all of a sudden. You know, these drugs are supposed to be tiredness-inducing drugs in general, both gabapentin and Klonopin. But gabapentin makes me feel strangely wired in a weird way. But Klonopin doesn't. Klonopin makes me mushy. I only took half of one this morning, but, you know, starting to really sink in. Starting to say, hey, here I am. Pay attention to me, mister. And I'm like, it doesn't really get you high. It just makes you a little weird. I don't know how to explain it. It definitely has a kind of a weird mental effect. I took a small half of one this morning. I didn't take a big half of one. I cut it in half and I ended up with a big half and a small half. I mean, if you take a small enough amount of it, it didn't necessarily. But, like if you mix it with Adderall, I've stayed up all night before on both. Blueberry, goat cheese, and olive oil and pepper. That's newfangled woke ice cream. You can't be eating no newfangled woke ice cream. You gotta eat old-fashioned regular ice cream things. This is the old man credo. I'm Andy Rowney. Have you been to the ice cream store lately? Have you seen the new flavors they've got? Right. Like blueberry goat cheese. Why would I want goat cheese in my ice cream? Olive oil and pepper. That sounds like something you'd put on a salad. No thanks. I'm going back to Baskin Robbins. Vanilla ice cream, chocolate, strawberry. That's all the flavors you need. I'm Andy Rowney. That's how Andy Rooney sounded. His whole thing. That is a weird combo, Morridge. Shrooms, Adderall, and Klonopin. I like having goat cheese ice cream before all my shootouts. Nah. No, I've never sniffed gasoline. That sort of thing will give you a headache, I tell you. Nah. Tramadol, eh? What's tramadol? Nah. Kalani should only be used to help you descend and make final. That's not how I use them. It's like when Rachel gets a new bottle, I'll kind of like get into it for a couple of days and then I'll restrain myself because I don't want to do all over Kalani. You know? I won't do it. When I have Adderall, I generally don't do it. But I am going to go to bed pretty soon. I don't really like painkillers. I'm feeling pretty heavy. I'm feeling pretty heavily in need of a nap. I think I'm gonna smoke this cigarette and then play a song maybe before I go inside. It doesn't give you that loving feeling. I've got that loving feeling. Yeah, I think so. I'm really trying to mush now. When you're really starting to mush and you're feeling like a bush that's turned into a bushy thing, then it's time to go to bed, 'cause you're mushy and your head is just beginning now to ring. Yes, I'm mushy, oh so mushy. I'm as mushy as mush can be. And if you're mushy and you feel mushy, then you might be as mushy as me. It's hard to persist when you're mushy like this, because mushiness makes you into a fish who's trying to fly up in the sky as though that fish had wings. But mushiness will bring a new kind of attention, a bad-minded thought, a bread-minded what, a bread-minded means to go and have dreams, a way to experience mushiness unconsciously, and it's called sleeping. No, I'm not talking about weeping, I'm talking about sleeping. No, I'm not talking about stripping paint from the house. What a silly conclusion to draw about what I said. Not in bed, no, instead I'll be in bread. Oh, beautiful bread, beautiful bread. Everyone loves you, beautiful bread. Bread is the staple that makes us able to proceed through life okay. Bread is the wonderful food made of wheat that we all say isn't gay. We love bread, oh sweet bread. When your head gets mushy like mine, it's pushing me way to bread. Delightful bread, side instead of out here, but much more horizontal. Bread, where I lay my head on a pillow is soft as the company's boss, giving all of the money as a Christmas bonus. That was a nice song about bread. I enjoyed that song for bread. Okay, so I'm going to bread now. Ooh, I could go for a hot pretzel from Germany too. Are you getting one, Rachel? Get me one while you're gone. Okay, I'll see y'all later. I'm obviously bread bound here. I'm turning into straight up mush. Thanks for being here. I love you all. Really appreciate your viewership and other such appropriate Effie things to say. They're both true and good Effie. Goodbye. Have a great day.